It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Hello, my name is Tyrone Lowe. This is my show, The Legends. I want to thank everybody that actually subscribes to me and show me love all over the world. And today on my show, I have a artist that's actually phenomenal. Her resume is like phenomenal. Um, in the House of the Legends, I give you Arika Kane.
Hi, Tyrone.
How are you today? How you feeling?
I'm blessed. I'm really, really good. Thanks. How about
All
you?
right, so we're going to take you back down to your childhood. How was your
Okay.
childhood? Let's talk about your childhood and if you had any musical influences or if your family was actually orientated in that type of way. Tell the viewers about it.
Yes, both. My parents are musicians and singers. I grew up with every genre of music around me, whether it was on the radio or my parents playing in musical bands. They played in a group called Mass Production, and they kind of traveled throughout New England. And they started off as a folk church group,
Hmm.
and it was kind of like the movie Sister Act, when the
Yeah,
when the
yeah,
music was so touching and moving and
right.
fun and beautiful, and people would just come up, hear it off the streets and come into church. And
Hmm.
kind of the same thing, their music, the way that they sang and the way that they performed was so
Hmm.
exciting. And that's, for the Catholic, not to down any Catholic masses, but
Hmm.
sometimes the music can be real, like, sad and, like,
Yeah,
not
little dark,
not
little
emotionally
dark.
moving.
Yeah.
And so they were so fun, and so I got to hear beautiful harmonies and voices and instruments, ever since I was a baby. And so that had a big impact on me wanting to pursue music as a career.
And at that stage of actually growing up, who was your influences as far as musicians, singers, things of that nature?
Well, I have such an eclectic list of influences.
Okay.
Um, my father introduced me to the old classics of Judy Garland and Fred Astaire and those old musicals, and
Hmm.
the the entertainment and the singing and the dancing. Um, so that I really enjoy that. Even so, now I watch those old movies. But
Right.
I grew up in the '90s, so
Hmm.
you know, I feel like it was one of the best eras of music. But I could be biased because that was my, like, era.
Right.
But I grew up with Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Aaliyah, Mary J.
Hmm.
Blige, um, then Alicia Keys. So I would say, honestly, any music in the '90s,
Right.
even any genre, to be honest, because every genre to me was
Hmm.
just good music. So
You know,
anybody in the '90s was always a huge influence on me.
you're known as an R&B pop artist. You
Hmm.
have a lot of crossover things going on with you, and that's kind of inspiring me because I see a lot of artists don't really have that type of gift, but they could actually cross over from R&B to pop, and things like that. And I think that's very special. So why do they call you the VH1 songstress? Because you got a lot of things going on. So I want to try to actually touch on a lot of things for the viewers. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, for sure. Well, most people know me from my signature music that was placed on VH1.
Hmm.
That's kind of how my first major single was exposed, and it became quite popular. It's called Here With Me, and it's till this day,
Hmm.
my biggest record. So VH1 placed a lot of my music in their shows like Basketball Wives, Love and Hip Hop,
Mm-hmm.
Single Ladies. And I had the theme song for Hollywood X's and Atlanta X's, which was a big VH1 reality show. So a lot of reality shows about 2010-ish to 2015, I believe, had my music either in the background or the
Mm-hmm.
theme song. And so, that's kind of where that title comes from.
Okay. In 2014, you did a collaboration with Brian Knight. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, that was super, super cool. Brian McKnight is
Mm-hmm.
one of the singers in the 90s that I,
Right.
looked up to and admired. So um, somehow just being connected to working with him
Mm-hmm.
was just quite random. There, his manager, my manager reached out to his manager, and he was open to the collaboration. And it was so cool because he let Brian McKnight let me produce him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a dope experience to be able to produce Brian McKnight. And he was just super humble, like down
Mm-hmm.
to earth, very humble.
Right.
And it was nice to experience that.
At what stage of your life when you actually wanted to take recording seriously? You know, um, you know, um, yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I would say my first year in college, um,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go. Take that back. I didn't want to go to college. I went to college to appease my parents because that's just what everybody did.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody wants their parents' approval. I never wanted to let them
Mm-hmm.
down. They did obviously support music because they're the reason that, I wanted to pursue it. But
Mm-hmm.
I have an older brother who he was like super student, like high honors, top of the class. Like I
Mm-hmm.
could I could never live up to him. So I think there was a little bit of me that always wanted to strive to, be
Mm-hmm.
great in that way. And
Right.
my first year in college, I was like, what am I doing? Like this I want to start my career. Like I have so
Right.
much passion,
Mm-hmm.
and you know I want to take this energy in this moment, when I'm 17, 18 years old,
Mm-hmm.
to you know create the drive to and have the motivation to do this. And that was it. I think I went to college for a year and a half.
Right.
I was like, that's it. I don't know where to start, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing it.
You know, what was your reaction to your first single when you actually seen there was a big response to it? What was going through your head? What was happening?
you know it it felt like surreal because
Mm-hmm.
I knew that it was going to happen if my music got enough exposure. That was
Mm-hmm.
always the thing. Like, how do you get exposure? I mean,
Right.
till this day, artists, everybody's trying to figure it out. And the fact that it happened sort of overnight because of television,
Mm-hmm.
it was surprising, but at the same time, it was like an answered prayer. I was like, oh,
Right.
thank goodness, but it was, I didn't know it was going to happen when it happened.
Mm-hmm. So when you actually got in front of a live audience, for the very first time, it was what kind of adrenaline was running through your body? Because everybody has that rush, of
Yeah.
saying, are they really going to respond to me in the way that I'm going to give the energy or what? Let's take it back to that.
Yeah, that happens every time, to be honest, every
Mm-hmm.
single time. Because most artists are perfectionists.
Right.
So it's a gift and a curse
Mm-hmm.
because we will go above and beyond, but at the same time, we're super hard on ourselves.
Right.
And so it's a constant battle of wanting to be perfect versus just being you and
Right.
letting go and surrendering. And I think over time it gets a little bit easier to just
Mm-hmm.
surrender, because I think as you grow, you learn that you're not trying to fit into society as much,
Right.
because
Mm-hmm.
you understand your power more. Like, wait a minute, I have something to offer here. You know, when you're
Uh-huh.
younger, you know, you just want to fit in and be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mentioned, going to college, I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be accepted and approved of and all those things. And as you grow, it's kind of like, well, wait a minute,
Mm-hmm.
I want to create an experience. I don't want to just try to be somebody. You know what I mean? So,
Okay. Mm-hmm. So briefly, let's talk about your new track. Tell the viewers the name of your new track, and let's talk about it and what it's all about.
so my new track is called Dreamin', and it's
Mm-hmm.
available on all digital outlets. And it's a little bit of a different vibe for me.
Mm-hmm.
I usually am doing, the songs I release are more a little bit on the R&B mid-tempo vibe. Um, but I don't know. I wanted to try something different. My label really wanted me to write to this record for years, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little bit stubborn because I know if I vibe with something or not, but
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep an open mind because
Right.
I don't know everything.
Right.
And so they really were pushing for me. They're like, I'm telling you this, there's something about this.
Well,
And
you
I
know, we're
started
gonna take.
writing to it.
Mhm. Well, we're going to take a little break, you guys. She has a new track called Dreaming Out. Listen to it, support her with it. You know, this girl has been around for a very long time. So give us some more support. And here we go. We'll be right back. So stay tuned.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house.
really down,
Really now.
playing the games you do.
Someday, everything will be alright.
Yeah, that different people make the world go round.
Because of you, my dreams are coming true.
That erases my rainy day.
Right now, I don't care who's watching.
For whatever the reason there might be.
With your love by my side, the world will be mine. You're the one for me.
Yeah. Nobody.
And we're back. My name is Tyrone Lowe. This is my show, The Legends. And in the House of the Legends, we have Arika Kane. Hey, Arika.
I'm back.
Okay. In 2016, you released an album, the remix album, which was actually phenomenal. It topped the charts all over the place, and it was really, really epic. So tell the viewers about that.
So my remix album is called the Arika Kane, the Remixes. Basically, it's most of my music from my first two albums, and well, actually 3 albums, and it was turned into dance music like EDM, house, a little bit of island in there. So it's my R&B pop music kind of transformed into dance music and put on one album. And it was really cool to hear my music in a whole different way, a whole different vibe. And it's very high energy, and it's totally different, but it's super cool.
You know what's really fascinating? I was a big fan of the song Secret Garden, and you just came along with some Boys to Men, Raheem, Devon, and the rest of them. Let's tell the viewers how you got involved with that project, because that's epic. Actually the remix of, the remade of it by Quincy Jones. So tell the viewers about that.
Yeah, so the remake of Secret Garden, we reproduced it, my label BSC Recordings, with our production team, which is myself, Lou Humphrey, and Jasmine Joyner. And we're such a tight-knit team on our label production team, and we have such a formula. We have this formula, and it always works.
Right.
And we like to keep the quality of the realness of the music, whether it's a cover or an original song. It's very important that we handle it very carefully, especially such a classic like that. And being able, my part in it was producing the vocals. So being able to work with Cisco, Sean Stockman, and Raheem Devon's vocals, have their raw vocals in my Pro Tools, and being able to play around and produce it from that standpoint. Right. Again, because I grew up listening to them, was super dope.
There's a lot of artists out there that's coming up right now that's actually, they could be acting, producing, singing, things of that nature. And do you have any encouraging words for them?
Yeah, so my words would be more of protection advice, meaning, the industry can be a really cold place. Okay. So my advice to artists would be to learn as much as you can about the business, about how the business has changed, what your rights are as an artist. Find a lawyer that you can trust, have a really tight team around you, because there's a lot of people in the industry that are looking to take from you. So I would say really find ways to protect yourself.
Right.
Number one.
Through your whole career, if there's anything that you can actually think about that you actually would have changed, what would that be?
No, there's nothing because
Mm-hmm.
as much as I'd like to say, there were many times, like so many obstacles, so many
Mm-hmm.
trying times, and not understanding and being angry and all this. Now that I've come full circle and like my spiritual journey,
Mm-hmm.
I look back and I'm like, I know why that happened now. Like that happened for a reason. I
Mm-hmm.
was being protected from this, or this wasn't supposed to happen because this was a better opportunity. So, to be honest, I truly believe that we're all guided, and
Mm-hmm.
everything happens for a reason. And I'm a believer of that. So,
Okay. Erica, you got any upcoming events that you want to share to the viewers that they should actually know about?
well, I'm going to start performing again towards the end of this year, but more moving into the next year. And
Mm-hmm.
you can find wherever my bookings are, they'll be on bserecordings.com.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also working on an album that will be released the beginning of next year.
Right.
And I do have a collaboration with Sean Stockman of Boys to Men that will
Mm-hmm.
also be released after the new year. And that's going to be super cool.
Any tour? Any tours coming up?
No, next year,
Mm-hmm.
I'll start performing again. So I'll probably have a lot of bookings. But as far as a tour,
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep you posted on that because I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
finish my album first
Mm-hmm.
before that.
Can you describe your mindset when you're really actually trying to write something and put it down for it to actually make sense to you to actually calm your self satisfaction?
So the mindset for me is actually clearing the mind and
Okay.
going into the heart.
Right.
Because the mind sometimes is so super busy and full of a million things that you are thinking about. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm big on meditation and clearing the mind. Not that you're not thinking about anything, but
Mm-hmm.
it's calm. So you're calming the mind and going into the heart. And for me, when I'm centered into my heart is when things can come through,
Mm-hmm.
music, lyrics, melodies, anything that has to do with my purpose, it comes through a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. You know, um, what would be your dream artist, that you would actually want to do a duet with? There's a lot of them out there, but I'm specifically stating the fact that if you have one, who would it be?
Well, dead or alive.
Of
I'm sure you meant alive.
course.
Yeah, because there's so many that aren't, so many
Yes.
stars, that
Right.
um,
Well, the
I would
first one that comes to your head.
I would say Alicia Keys. I've always
Okay.
felt connected to her
Right.
frequency. Like I have the same type of vibe.
Right.
I always felt connected to her, and I think if we wrote something together, it'd be super cool. So I say Alicia Keys.
Okay. Do you have any shout outs that you want to people to recognize at this point?
I would just love to shout out my label, BSC Recordings, and
Okay.
everybody affiliated with it. We've been on this journey for years now, and we've overcome a lot of obstacles, and we're still going forward. And we've kept our integrity. So everybody
Mhm.
involved in my label, I just want to thank.
That's great. You know, I like your spirit. You're very humble. I see that you've been through some real great things in life, and as far as your career is concerned,
Thank
um,
you.
what are you looking forward to more now? As because you've been around the block, you've actually gained a lot of substance in this craft. Um, are you looking for anything else to actually to make closure with, as far as your career is concerned?
Um, No, I just want to keep making good music.
Okay.
I think good music is just a lost art,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to mainstream, the mainstream industry.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually enjoy finding artists because there's artists all over the world, independent artists who make amazing music.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think just making good music, creating new ways to reach people like the internet,
Right.
I do want to start a podcast. I have so much wisdom from what I've
Right.
learned
Okay. Mm-hmm.
in this industry. So through music and message is how I want to keep going.
Um, I've been very flattered to have you on my show, and
Likewise.
thank you for being very informative to the viewers. Um, Come again, you know. To my viewers, Erica has a new track out called Dreaming. Um, she has it on all platforms right now. Go out there, get it, play it, support her with it, you know. And like I said, Erica, come back again to the legends, and give us more of an upgrade. This has been
Absolutely.
another okay. This has been another T Love video production, and you guys come through and listen to my show and support me. And my show is about actually getting the stories of artists. Because you can actually listen to an artist, but really listening to their story draws you even closer to them to actually know who they are. So this has been Tyrone Lowe, and my show was called The Legends. And you guys stay tuned for another episode.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an
to
effort.
get to know each other,
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
Mentor.
Actor.
it's time we take a step forward
it's time we take a step forward.
Come together.
and discover
How accepting our differences
Can make us stronger.
Man, it's lonely. Going through life lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music.
Just mine, his or her house. This is our house.